It's hard enough just when you're dealing with one sick chicken and you're like stressed out about that. But let's say you've got one sick chicken and you're dealing with that, and then you come out to your flock and there's another sick chicken, and maybe a couple days later, there's another chicken that's sick. I think in these moments, it's totally normal to feel like I should just quit keeping chickens because this is awful. But I don't want you to feel that way. I have some good information for you, and I hope it can help you. Hey guys, welcome to Chickenlandia. I am a backyard chicken educator here in the Pacific Northwest, but you can call me the president of Chickenlandia. I'm holding Bubblicious because he was being naughty. He was chasing one of the hens and being rude. I don't want you to be like that. You need to be a gentleman. He's really sweet, but he's still a rooster, right? So it was actually very recently here in Chickenlandia that I was dealing with a fairly serious chicken disease called coccidiosis. And there are several different strains. Obviously, my chickens got a strain that some of them were not immune to. It was a more virulent strain, and it's been pretty hard. I've lost a few chickens just because of the nature of coccidiosis. It will attack chickens that are vulnerable in some way. So usually it will attack very old chickens, chickens that are compromised in another way, or very young chickens. So I lost some young chickens and I lost a couple of very, very old chickens. So yeah, it's been really hard, but now I am at the tail end of it, and I'm feeling good about where I'm at, and I'm ready to kind of move on and start getting back into giving you guys some good information. I put Bubblicious down. He was being good. He said he was going to be good. So I knew exactly what I was dealing with my flock because I had a fecal test done at the veterinarian's office. He told me, he said, you know, this is going to be tough. This is not going to be easy. You are likely going to get some other chickens getting sick from this. And I just want to warn you what's going on. And if you're in this situation where you're at the very beginning of realizing that you have a contagious disease, I just want you to know that I know it feels really bad right now, but there will be a light at the end of the tunnel, okay? This is like, this too shall pass. Just remember that. So before we go on, my disclaimer is rolling right now. I just need to let you know I am not a licensed veterinarian. Obviously, the best case scenario for you if you're dealing with illness in your flock, especially a serious illness, is to find out exactly what you're dealing with by getting a proper diagnosis through a licensed veterinarian. Now, I totally understand that that is not something that everyone can do. Some of you don't have access to chicken veterinarians, and some of you can't afford it. And I completely understand that, but I do need to say that I'm not a veterinarian, and obviously the best case scenario is to be working with a veterinarian through something like this. He's being naughty again. So for chickens, the most serious illnesses that can happen to them are usually like a digestive problem, maybe a parasitic problem, or a respiratory issue. And I'm going to give you some resources at the end of this video specifically for respiratory problems in chickens. I do have a specific protocol that I do for that, but I can't go through the whole thing in this video. But even if that's what you're dealing with right now, I think that you're gonna get a lot of good, solid, supportive care information in this video to just boost your flock's immunity and hopefully get through this without too many losses. So the first thing I would suggest you do is make sure that you remove any sick chickens from your flock and treat their illnesses separate from the flock. And what I do is I follow something called the REST protocol, R-E-S-T. So the R stands for remove from flock, both for their protection and for the sake of your flock, because you don't want them spreading illness around if you can help it. The E stands for electrolytes, vitamins, and probiotics. When a chicken is sick, they are in danger of getting dehydrated because, because they're sick and likely because they're not drinking as much as they should be. I remember when I was a kid, I didn't want to drink that much water when I was sick, and my mom would give me Gatorade or juice or something just to keep me hydrated, because dehydration is very dangerous and it can happen very quickly. You can get electrolyte formulas for chickens that usually have vitamins and probiotics in them as well from your local farm store. You can also get them online. You can also find recipes for homemade electrolytes that you can make at home that is specifically for chickens. Just make sure that it's from a reputable source, but there's tons of recipes online. The S is for scrambled eggs. Now, chickens, when they are sick, they might not be drinking as much as they should, and they also might not be eating as much as they should. And you want to just get something into them so that they can keep their strength up so that they can heal. There's not a lot of chickens that can resist scrambled eggs. It's just something that they really love, that they will usually eat even if they feel lousy. So I give it to them when they're sick. It's just like a comfort food that will give them some good protein, some good vitamins, just some good overall nutrition to help them get through their illness. The T stands for temperature control. So when a chicken is sick, you don't want their bodies to be working on trying to stay cool or trying to stay warm if it's cold outside. You want to put them in an area where you can control the temperature and just keep it very moderate for them so that they don't have to worry about that. They don't have to be stressed out about staying warm or cool, and they can just concentrate on getting better. Since I was working with my veterinarian, I was able to get a prescription medication for my chickens that were sick with an active case of coccidiosis. It was an antibiotic, which I absolutely do not like. I do not like giving my chickens antibiotics, okay? That being said, there are times when it's a life or death situation, and the only thing standing between life and death is antibiotics. So I just want to mention this in case you're dealing with coccidiosis. There is another medication that is fairly benign when compared with other medications, and it is called Amprolium. So the way it works is that coccidia needs thiamine in order to survive, and the Amprolium acts as a thiamine mimicker, and so the coccidia eats the Amprolium instead of thiamine, and it fails to survive. Now, the problem with this is that chickens also need thiamine. They really do. Thiamine deficiency in chickens can cause big problems. Once you're done with the course of Amprolium, make sure that you give your chickens a good 2-week dose of a good chicken vitamin with thiamine, just to make sure that you restore those thiamine levels in your chicken, because like I said, chickens can get big problems from thiamine deficiency, and you don't want that. So while my sick chickens were inside being treated individually, I gave my whole flock some herbs that will hopefully help to prevent them coming down with coccidiosis and also help to boost their immunity. And I'm going to show you what these are. These are herbal formulas from a company called Molly's Herbals, and they are a company in the United States. Very good quality herbs, and I just really like them because they're very helpful too. So this company has 2 formulas that can be helpful for what I had going on in my flock. One is a wormwood formula, and wormwood has been shown to be effective against coccidiosis. So these herbs are given by mixing it in with their feed. I think you could probably put it into a treat or something, but that's how I give it to my flock, and they like the taste of it. There are also other herbal supplements that are on the market that are very gentle. I think if you just want to go for basic immune boosting herbs, the main ones to look for are garlic, oregano, and thyme. So if you can find an herbal supplement that is for chickens that has all 3 of those, and you can give those to your chickens all the time. You don't have to wait until they're sick. I will do garlic a couple times a week. You can do oregano and thyme. You can sprinkle that in their food every single day, and hopefully that will help to support them and just bring up their immunity so that they can deal with whatever might be coming their way. Another thing that you can do for your whole flock is add some apple cider vinegar into their water. Not only does it help to boost their immunity, but it also will help to keep the sickness from spreading to your whole flocks. Now remember, you have to remove your sick chickens. You don't want to leave them with your flock, but just in case, it's good to have that extra insurance by putting a tablespoon per gallon of apple cider vinegar into your flock's water. Now, right now it's really hot, so I'm actually not giving my chickens apple cider vinegar because when it's hot, you just don't want to do that. It can affect their calcium levels, so I don't give my chickens apple cider vinegar during a heat wave. But if it is super hot, what you can do during that time is to give your whole flock some electrolytes, vitamins, and probiotics in their water. Because disease and stress are so interconnected, I will give some flower essences to my chickens. The one that I really like is called Rescue Remedy. You can get that at Petco, you can get it at PetSmart, you can get it online. I'll leave a link for you in the description. And what it does is it works on an energetic level, kind of like homeopathics work, and it helps to just kind of calm them down and de-stress them. You can put a couple drops in your flock's water. You can put a drop or two in the water of your sick chickens that are being treated inside, and that will really help to support them emotionally to get them through this illness. And guess what? They make a humankind too, and I know this because I have been taking it these last few weeks because I'm stressed out. I think at this point, there are many people that would recommend you medicate your entire flock with some kind of synthetic medication, such as antibiotics or Improlium, depending on what you have going on. I am not one of those people, at least not at this point, because, whatever I put into my chickens, it doesn't end with my flock. It goes into the earth. It goes into my local ecosystem. I really care about, the integrity of our microbiome and the soil. I think that's very, very important. So I'm just extra mindful about that. Like I said, no judgment if you feel like, okay, it's time for me to medicate my whole flock. But by treating my sick chickens inside and giving them medication if they need it, and sticking to natural ways of treating my flock that are still outside, that aren't showing signs of illness, I feel very comfortable with that. And I feel like it's going to help with the overall resilience of my flock, because honestly, the chickens that become compromised, the chickens that get the sickest, are the ones that were medicated at the beginning of life. I have seen that, I do not have scientific proof of this, but I have seen it in my flock. And I've seen chickens that I've had to give medications to, more than once, and they're always weaker than the rest of the flock. So I feel like if I were to give my whole flock antibiotics at this point, I would be lessening the resilience of my entire flock and future flocks, and I don't want to do that, not yet. Okay, I talked a little bit at the beginning about respiratory illness. I have dealt with respiratory illness in my flock many times before. Where I live right now, it's super common. And I do have a protocol, and guess what else I have? I have a podcast. Did you know that? It's called Bach Talk, and I record it live here on my YouTube channel, but you can also listen to it on all the major podcast apps. If you want to watch it on YouTube, I have one about respiratory illnesses, and I talk about my respiratory protocol for chickens. You can click right here and listen to it. It's 100% friendly. Backyard chickens, education, and entertainment, and I know you're gonna love it.